Well, there you see Kelly Garrison. By the way, Dong Yin Zhu's score of 9.05 was posted just before Kelly's performance. Now to the still rings, the national champion of the United States. This is Brian Babcock, 24 years of age, performing on the still rings.
Brian also does a very good strength combination. There's an inverted cross, a little bit high, but he lowers right to an L cross, and then he pulls back up and presses to a handstand, defying gravity. Now for the swing. Tremendous amount of power when you swing on the rings. Your feet at one point at the bottom can move up to 70 miles an hour, so you can imagine how hard it is to hold on. Getting ready for the dismount. The double laid out, a little piked and a slight separation, but a good routine overall.
Brian Babcock at 24 from Southern Illinois, a graduate there in '83, hometown Garden City, Kansas, the national champion. And again, as he has started to pick up the pieces of the '84 Olympic team as one of those new fresh faces.
And here he is. Look at the lift. Nice. Right through a handstand. Pulls down on the rings. Body laid out. You can see his feet come apart a little bit in the air, but a good landing.
Beautiful performance indeed by the national champion, Brian Babcock, and you can see the grin of delight from Carbondale, Illinois. Back to the women's uneven bar, and this is Wang Xiaoyang performing for China.
Good reverse hack. Perfect routine so far. Nice switch to the low bar. You have to work skills on both the high bar and the low bar, and you must have direction changes. You cannot face one way the whole routine. Good free hip to a handstand. Nice giant swing. Here's a dismount, double back. Got it in with a little hop. A good routine, not as much difficulty as some of the other routines we've seen, but a very well-performed exercise.
Well, as Wang Xiaoyang waits for her score, by the way, Kelly Garrison's score of 9.30 was posted after a conference just before Wang's performance. The individual competition heads for a peak in the men's still rings and the women's uneven bars in a moment on the McDonald's Gymnastics Challenge. Maybe one of the most popular of the Chinese performance is Chi Tianhua. He's performing on the rings, and his score he must beat is that of a fellow countryman from China of 9.75 by Kwang Xianyang. That was earlier. Chi Tianhua again on the rings for China.
And Chi Tianhua does a tremendous routine, a lot of difficulty. He's very strong. He's the national champion on this event, so he's the best China has to offer. Kick right to a cross, and then he pulls out. And then presses to an inverted cross. That's amazing. And pulls out to a handstand. Nice giant swing right to a handstand. Boy, the Chinese are amazing athletes. They are so physically strong in the upper body and very powerful and flexible as well. There's another inverted cross. Good double layout with a stuck landing. I think that's going to get a great score.
Chi Tianhua, he not only won the preliminaries here in earlier competition for China in the team competition at 9.75. That would do no more than match him with a teammate of his own in Kwang Xianyang. So he's looking for a better score than 9.75. And with that routine, certainly has a great opportunity. Let's move now to the women's uneven bar. This is Marie Roethlisberger. Marie has had operations on both elbows, the last preventing her from competing in the '84 Olympic Games, where she serves as an alternate. Peter asked her earlier, failing to compete last summer has given her the drive to challenge again.
Yeah, I was very disappointed. That was my long-time goal, and I made the World Championship team before that, and I also was injured and couldn't compete in that either, so to have it happen a second time, and it was really hard, yeah.
Now you're 19, you've been competing for a while. How much longer are you going to go?
Well, I feel I can go to the next Olympics. I can't say 100% sure yet that I will, but the next goal is the World Championships, and then, you know, I'll just see how it is. I think I may continue after that.
19-year-old Marie Roethlisberger, an alternate on the United States Olympic team, ready on the uneven bars. She has to beat her teammate Sabrina Marr, who posted a 9.8 earlier in this event.
And Marie is having a great year. She was the alternate on the Olympic team. Oh, hit her foot there on a reverse hack. Too bad. That's going to hurt her score. But boy, she's come off of 2 operations, 1 on each elbow, and what a competitor. She will not give up. She's going to be a great gymnast even now. A break on the reverse hack. Other than that, a very good exercise with a good landing.
Third all around in the McDonald's Nationals in Jacksonville to make it here to the national team for the 4th time. Again, as an alternate on the United States Olympic team, 19 years of age, but still has that zeal and the zest to compete.
She sure does. Now watch this. Here's the reverse hack. There's the lift. Watch her left foot right there. You saw it hit the bar, and that's the break. It also interrupted her rhythm of the routine. So that's going to hurt her score somewhat.
By the way, Wong Xiaoyang's score of 9.65 was posted just before Marie started her event. In the still rings, a former United States Olympic gold medal team member, this is Scott Johnson. The score, by the way, for Shi Tiwa before Scott goes to the rings is 9.85. He is the leader, and that's the score that Scott has to shoot at. And what a hill to climb for this former Olympian.
It sure is. Scotty is a great performer on the rings, though. He has to beat a 9.85. That's almost a perfect score with new rules that would make scoring harder. Great. Pulls right out from across to an L seat. Scott presses to a handstand, which is a required thing to do. You must get to a handstand through swing and through strength. And there he did it through swing. Scotty performing very well. Nice swing backwards. Most gymnasts swing forward and backwards with straight arms. Now the dismount. Pike tap in, half out, and a good landing. Boy, a great routine. He didn't have the amazing strength part as we've seen earlier, but tremendous swing and a perfect landing. That's going to be an interesting score, Sam.
Shi Tiwa with a 9.85 as Scott Johnson got into the rings and started his routine.
This is a full twisting double somersault, but what makes this difficult is the fact that he does not bend his knees in the air. He keeps his legs straight, and that requires more rotation. Therefore, it's given a higher difficulty rating in the code of points.
Well, the young man who's a native of Colorado Springs, Colorado, living in Lincoln, Nebraska, graduate of the University of Nebraska, national champions in '81, Scott Johnson on the Olympic team, 9 months off, had only 1 competition before the nationals and placed in that particular competition 6th, but 2nd in the rings. Now we move to the women's uneven bar once again. And this is Xu Wen Hong.
Once again for China, Xu Wen Hong.
And she tied in the preliminary rounds with Marie Roethlisberger with the highest score of 9.8. This is another good routine. There's a straddle over the top, grabs in a dorsal grip, very nice. She also has a difficult dismount. It's coming up right now with a heck to a back flip. Here it is. 1 step forward, but that's about the only mistake in that exercise was just the step on the dismount.
Sabrina Marr has a 9.85. That's what Xu Wen Hong was trying to, 9.80, And that's what Wen Hong was trying to beat. Well, the final standings in the still ring, and the competitors walking off the floor now as Scott Johnson and Shi Tiwa tied for the still rings championship at 9.85. Kwong Yin Ya was going for 2nd, and Yong Xiao Ming was 3rd. 9.75, 9.65 were their scores.
9.80, the United States of America, Sabrina Marr.
Well, as to be expected, the national champion Sabrina Marr has come through in the women's uneven bar as she had a 9.80 for the gold medal in that event today. Campbell 22 from nearby Los Angeles right here, and a junior at UCLA vaulting right in front of us.
And Robbie is a great vaulter. He received a perfect 10 in the national competition one time. On his first vault, the handspring front, Barani out in the tuck position. A good landing. His knees a little apart in the air. There are 2 vaults. They must be different vaults, and both vaults count. They are averaged to determine our champion.
Robbie with tremendous speed down the runway here.
Nice takeoff. Watch the push on the horse right there. Look at the lift. Spots the ground, Barani. Nice landing, but you can see his knees apart in the air a little bit, and that is a minor deduction.
Same situation as in the women's vaulting, quite obviously for the men. As in the vaults, the form, height, and certainly the distance from the vault. Very important here as we look at Robbie Campbell, ready for his second vault of the afternoon.
And Robbie has been training, of course, with the other UCLA greats, Peter Vidmore and Mitch Gaylord, so he has gotten a lot of help in the gym.
Robbie, a 1978 junior national champion all around.
Here he comes on his second vault. One arm handspring with a full twist. You notice he only put one hand on the horse. This is something that gymnasts are doing now. It's a very new technique, and they're starting to do it with all vaults. One hand instead of 2. It raises the difficulty factor of the vault. Now take a look at it. Watch. Approaches the horse, puts only one hand on, and still does the full twist and lands. Raises the difficulty value. Nice vault.
He needed that. In fact, he had only a 9.3 on his first vault. So he certainly would need a better vault there to up his score here. Again, they take the 2 and average them. Good look at Guo Ling Xiao. Getting ready for his first vault.
Now we move to our next vaulting competitor. The gentleman who worked up with the Army team.
From China, on the Army team, Guo Lin Xiong, ready for his first vault.
And once again, this is the national all-around champion of the People's Republic of China. So in their recent 1985 competition, their national championship, he wound up number 1. So we certainly will be seeing him in major international competition. Here's his first vault. Nice, that vault's called a Cuervo. It's a handspring with a half twist and then a backflip. But what makes that very nice is the fact that he did it in the pike position, and his pike was real open in the air. And that's virtuous, and the judges score extra tenths of a point for virtuosity. And here's the takeoff. There's the half twist right there. Now a backflip, and you can see how open he is in the air. He made that vault very easy. Just took a step back. That was the only deduction.
Well, difficulty factor certainly will add to that as you see Guo waiting for the score to be posted before he makes his second run. And again, the concentration going through the Chinese. They had been talking about the jet lag from the Chinese team, but no one failed to mention that they have been here for quite some time.
That's right.
So it's not as dramatic as it might have been if they just arrived.
Some of the Americans got here a couple of days after the Chinese performance.
And the first vault, 9.5.
That's a good score for the first vault.
For Lin Xiong.
If he can match that score in his second vault, Sam, he could move right up in the finals. Right up in the final 3. Barani out. Now the difference in that vault, it might have looked the same, but the actual difference was the twist on that vault was on the second somersault, where the twist on the first vault was on the first somersault. And that's what makes them 2 different vaults. You must do 2 different vaults in the finals. Watch, here's the takeoff. Now watch where he begins his twist. There's one complete somersault right there. He's got it in, and now the twist comes right at the end. And on his first vault, he twisted in the beginning.
The Olympian gets ready for his run down the runway. And again, he has looked at the man that very likely would be the man to beat so far in Lin Xiong before they will post his second vault, Albert. Took a 9.5 in the first. And Scotty looking at the scores table just as well as we are and knowing what he has got to do now to perform to get the championship here in the men's vault. Again, 2 vaults, take them and average them. And here's the score, 9.5, so it averages at 9.5, and that's a score by Guo Lin Xiong that Scott Johnson must beat.
And that's tough because that's a 9.5 average with 2 scores. Scotty needs 2 good vaults, but he is our current national champion on this event. He's the best gymnast at our national championships on vaulting, so if anyone can do it, it's Scott Johnson.
A love affair with gymnastics. Scott Johnson.
Nice, laid out super hard, and near perfect landing. That's going to be a good score.
So as Scott Johnson hits a beauty here, trying to beat